In the house, brother. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for allowing me to be in your space, my brother.
Oh no, this is thank. You're welcome, and thank you also. It goes both ways. So we're getting back started again. We started this journey actually before COVID, and now we're gonna just speak our mind, have some discussions about what's going on in the world today. So, and today's first topic is Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein is in all well, not all the news because we have a war with Iran going on now, or a military situation that's going on in Iran, and we also have other things going on. But Epstein is still there. So I want to ask you this: how is Jeffrey Epstein impacting your life, or if affecting your life?
Jeffrey Epstein is affecting my life, to be 100% real with you, because I've been following it and watching it. The only effect that I feel is in my mental. And literally today, I had to shut it down because I felt as though there were so many smoke conversations and no fire conversations that I felt like it was bogging me down. It was bogging me down because I didn't feel as though people were really fighting the fire. They were just talking about the smoke.
Mm. And so, what is the smoke?
The smoke is, you would hear, what I've heard is Trump swore, Trump, Trump, Trump. But I asked the question, America attacked Iran. It was two forces. You had two of them. But we keep talking about America's aggression, but we're not talking about the other army that was in that airstrike. We weren't talking about Epstein and his affiliation to that other army that was in the airstrike. And then we didn't talk
Well,
about those two parties involved. They have a historical beef.
okay, so you're kind of going down that conspiracy that
That's not a
that Epstein
conspiracy.
that Epstein
That's not
actually
a
worked for
conspiracy.
the Mossad, worked for the Mossad. So he was actually a special agent or secret
I don't
agent
know
for
about who he
the
worked
Israel.
for. I don't know who he worked for. I just know Epstein is a name that you can go research that name, and you just research that name and go down that rabbit hole. It's not a conspiracy, just follow the facts. The name Epstein, follow the rabbit hole for where is he from? Where's his origin? And then who is the who is Trump's ally to attack Iran?
Well, definitely Israel is all involved in this, but there's I don't think there's any conclusive proof that Epstein has affiliations with Israel, or am I incorrect? Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff on the internet that said he was a secret agent, but none of those facts have been proven correct or been proven actual.
Okay, how about, let me ask you this question.
Yes.
If my name is Cook and I cook food, my name is Kenya Cook and I cook food. And everybody knows that Kenya Cook legitimately cooks food. And they jokingly call me Kenya Cook. So if your name is Epstein and I go to Wikipedia or I go to your genealogy and I look at your name and who your roots are, and I look at who America allied with, that's not a conspiracy. Those are just facts. Now, the conspiracy may be no, no, no. His name is Kenya Cook, and yet Kenya Cook, and yet he does cook food. But there's no connection between Kenya Cook cooking food.
Okay. Okay, so even if you are correct, so you thinking that now the timing with the strikes on Iran has a lot to do with these Epstein files being released, since there is a connection?
Well, I would challenge people to say that people who do great things in life, they're very committed. And one of the things that commit people is their values and their belief systems. So look at the values and belief systems of have a name. And your cook, he cooks food. He talks about food. And if you go
Mhm.
down that, you're gonna say, man, Kenya Cook talks about food, he cooks food, and people gonna say he makes a great gumbo. So if you were to use that same logic and apply it to anybody else, you
Mhm.
Michael Corleone in The Godfather, and they want to clean up the family. They say, hey man, we're gonna join the Catholic Church and we're gonna clean it up.
Mhm.
Follow the rabbit trail for yourself, because I never want to preach or tell people what to think, because we have sovereignty of thought, but we do have a responsibility to be critical thinkers. We can't just be group thinkers. And if you choose to do that, no problem. There's a lot of safety in the group. But there's a piece that if you don't sit back and say, your name is Jeffrey Epstein, America is fighting a war. They blame it on Trump, but they call him stupid. But then what am I missing? What am I mean, it's like, what am I missing?
You tell me what you're missing. I really don't follow what you're saying. The line of logic that you
Okay,
combine
here's the
that
line
you.
of logic. I'll say it explicitly. I'll say it explicitly, and this is the danger of being on the internet and talking. This is what you said earlier. Allegedly, he was an agent of the Mossad, right?
Hmm.
That's what you
But
said, right?
there's no conclusive proof of that.
Alleged. That's why we use the word allegedly. Is that
Hmm.
fair? Is that
This is
fair?
fair. This is fair.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Do you agree that the name Epstein has a root in a culture of people? Do you agree to that?
Well, yes. I mean, it's definitely a Jewish name. Correct.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we agree. So let's agree on that part. Do we agree that when the Americans that they said you need to get out of Israel and that area because of the issues, they used the word Americans, right?
Hmm.
Do you agree to that?
I'm not familiar with what they said, but I'm sure that they said something like that. Yes.
Okay. How about
They
this?
want.
How many black people do you think are in Israel that are trying to flee? Do you think it's a lot or do you think it's some?
I think there's some. Yeah.
Oh,
There
it's
has to
some.
be
Some
some.
is fair. Some is fair, but not a lot.
Definitely
Not a
not a
lot.
lot.
Oh, not a lot, but it's
Yes.
some.
Hmm.
So you have people saying Trump started this war.
Hmm.
Trump, all this stuff. We say Trump is dumb and stupid. Fair and fine. I have no issues with that. But if you have Jeffrey Epstein, who has a name and a genealogy that traces back to our Trump's partners in bombing Iran, and what I heard allegedly, American forces did not target the citizen population. American forces allegedly targeted military spaces, but the damage happened in the civilian space. That wasn't the American Air Force, that was the other people's air forces.
Hmm.
Now, the following the train, the logic flow is, if you have the name of a person who has this big conspiracy thing going on, then we have this war going on that's called the conspiracy, and he just started to distract. What I say is, and I wish I had my tinfoil hat so I can put it on. Is it too far out of a reasonable person saying, if you have this affiliation, you have this name, this is the war that's happening, maybe it is connected, and we need to ask different questions to say, hey, what is the connection between these two? What is the purpose of the useful idiot? If you know the definition of the useful idiot, then we
What
can
is it?
have a
What it?
dip. Hmm?
What is the useful idiot? I'm not familiar with the useful idiot term.
Oh my goodness. Let me go Google it so I don't give you the wrong definition. So we're
Okay.
going to say, Google, what is the definition of a useful idiot? Google's kind of fast over here. So the useful idiot is basically the foolish, stupid, or senseless person, often used informally or formally as a tool to display poor judgment. And the
Mm-hmm.
way we condemn Trump, we condemn him for poor judgment. We condemn him for his choices. But we don't
Mm-hmm.
sit back and look at, okay, you got a son, you got a daughter, you kind of in the mix. I get it. You got the right wingers and or the Republicans. You got the base riled up because you want to drain the swamp. But where does your money come from? And this is not to talk about the everyday person that believes in their faith, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, or whatever. The Muslim people I know are not terrorists. The Jewish people I know are not horrible people. The Christians I know are not perfect, but they're striving to be better. But when we look at the leaders who stand on top of the pyramid of each of our belief systems, we have to look at them and understand how do they use us. So the
Mm-hmm.
useful idiot that we blame this war on Trump, great, yeah. The buck stops at the desk of the leader, but you can't say Israel is fighting Iran, Muslim, Jewish, age-old debate. You agree to that? That's an age-old battle.
That's the
Ishmael and
age old
Isaac.
battle.
Ishmael
For
and
sure.
Isaac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
America definitely since the 20th century, definitely in the 20th century, America has been the military America is the police of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come to look at America, you can't have a police if you don't have money, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, you a smart guy. You went to University of Michigan. You probably know a lot of smart guys. You didn't go to Harvard. You didn't go to Harvard. You didn't go to Yale. So, but you still there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like I know, a lot of us did not sit at that table. So this is not about us, the people of color. We didn't sit at those tables in mass. So the people that sat at the table and how they look, the question is this. How do you reconcile the issue of, we always say separating church from state. We always say that, separate them two. But yet,
Mm-hmm.
we're literally fighting a religious war of Isaac and Ishmael, and the people that are siding with America to attack Iran. It's in their benefit. It's in their benefit to push their agenda because we don't want Sharia law. When you look at Sharia law and what the Muslims talk about, and I ain't gone in depth in it, so somebody could educate me on me because I'm totally ignorant. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. But I know this much. When I listened to a woman that lived in Iran and she was complaining, one of the first things she said was, we can't wear our hair out. We can't wear our clothes. We can't be thoughts. We can't have hot girl summer. They want to control us. And that's not right. I get it. But then the people we side with, what we don't understand is the people we side with understand that give interest. Economics is more in a capitalistic and in this world because money rules it. Economics is not the discussion. So this is so convoluted, and I'm being all over the place a little bit just to show you this is how entangled the web is. The average person cannot chew bubble gum, walk at the same time, and jump rope.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us can do a couple things at the same time, but we normally fall up beneath a banner. And conversations like we're having is just the start of this thing is so convoluted. But we can't fall to the side of hate. We can't fall to the side of they're bad, I'm good. Do not do that, because we none of us have enough information to be good if we're not operating from our heart. If we're not operating from a place of goodness. And most people don't even know how to do that because they're dealing with their own hurt. That's what makes us easy to be manipulated by narratives. I'm all over the place, but
No, so I understand. I do agree with you wholeheartedly that we can't come from a place of hate. But I'm just like interested in your theory that the Epstein files have a lot to do with this war that's going on right now. Maybe there's some stuff in the Epstein files that kind of even like foreshadow this conflict that's happening right now. Is that what you're saying?
Rothschild, Mayor
Mm.
Rothschild, when he started his banking empire
Mm-hmm.
and he sent his sons out to France, Spain, and around the world, what he understood was the king is not important. The gold is important.
Mm-hmm.
Control the money.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people that understand if you control the money, the king doesn't matter. These
Mm-hmm.
wars, like, how about this? You remember when Barack Obama and that administration, Hillary Clinton, they took out what's my man that was over in Libya?
Gaddafi.
They took him out, right?
They took him out. Yes,
Do you remember what he was trying to do?
I'm not familiar with what he was trying to do.
Now, if you're not familiar with what he's trying to do, and you went to University of Michigan, so you went to an elite college. Would you
Mm-hmm.
agree that you went to an elite college?
I went to an elite college, yes, and it's equally as
Okay.
good as Harvard and Yale. Go blue.
I totally agree with it.
Yeah,
Go blue.
go blue.
But 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 what we didn't see when they took what Gaddafi was trying to do was that he was trying to create sovereign rights for his community. That's a high level. Go research for itself. But here's the
Hmm.
thing. You had so many sovereign countries that did not have a global or world bank in place. Syria was one. What happened to Syria? All right. Libya was one. What happened to Libya? What happened?
Libya, they took out Gaddafi. Yes.
No, 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 no. Gaddafi was oppressing his people. So we got to go in there and liberate the people.
Mm-hmm.
And I pause to say it that way because liberating the people could mean I need to open up those markets.
Well, of course, well, that's what they did in Venezuela. So,
Wait a minute. Venezuela was the other one that did not have the World Global Bank. That was the other one.
hmm,
So
yes, no.
think about this. Do you know how many countries do not have a global World Bank in place but have natural resources that the world needs?
Well, Iran is one of them. Venezuela is one of them, and I think most of them do direct business with China. So that is that.
Okay, so my premise is follow the money. And I
Hmm.
say this not to say anybody is bad because most people at the lower levels genuinely believe in what they believe in. But
Hmm.
as you go up any kind of any business, any situation you're in, the more you go into it, you learn more. Is that a fair statement?
The more you go into, it, the more you learn more. You learn more.
That's
Correct.
fair.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
So what I know about anything is only limited to my time and my exposure into it. But when you look at the people like with the Jeffrey Epstein files, bottom line, they're
Hmm.
talking about Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all these people definitely do that. But Ellen, you remember Ellen?
Yes.
Ellen, yeah, she's been pretty much front and center.
Hmm.
So go after Ellen because if the government goes after a drug ring or a cartel, what they tend to do is find they first of all they connect the dots, then they find the people who are most compromisable, and then they lean on them. And then the people that
Mm.
they can lean on, they're looking for them to give them information about the other people. But all of that
Mhm.
takes willpower and resources. So what we do is like Hillary Clinton said, I don't know, Jeffrey. I never went there. So, so the question to her is bottom line. So how many times did your husband go?
Mhm.
But see, that question requires a response of where he went there a lot. Then it turns into, well, why did he go there? What did he tell you he did there? Well, he didn't tell me. So your husband didn't tell you what he was doing there. So
Mhm.
what was the quality of your relationship for your husband? Because we know he got his deal snail. So we don't have the political will or the mindset to really pursue the Jeffrey Epstein issue to his death. And I'll tell you this. Man,
Mm.
I may be done after this. Trust me, I love my life. I love Richard. I love life. I love people. I love everybody. I would never commit suicide. I don't do none of that stuff. So this is how they take you out. That's my preface to say this. If they really wanted to know the truth, one, everything should be totally transparent because I would rather sacrifice the names of the victims so that we can protect everybody else and give the victims restitution than protect the names of the victims and open up the door for potential other people to get hurt. So the
Mm.
conversation about Epstein, it is, in my opinion, and in my thought process, and I just sit around and I don't know nothing. But what I do know is this: if it doesn't sound right to you, if it ain't making sense to you, don't jump underneath your. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Don't jump underneath that banner. Jump underneath the banner of make sense, don't make sense. Because I'll tell you right this. I don't care who you are, white, black, Chinese, left, one arm, two arms, three legs. If it don't make sense, you're going to find people that don't look like you. And you're going to say, look, we don't agree, but let's make sure we're consistent about asking the same question
Mhm.
that will give some insight so that we can start to make sense if you care about it. Because if you can march, if a black person can march for George Floyd, uh, Malice Green, Rodney King, all these people we march for. Can everybody on the earth march at least for a child who is totally innocent?
Mhm.
Totally innocent. Because when I read the Epstein files, and you can go in there and Google it, it's funny. People say, did you read that? The Epstein files, release them, release them. Did you read what they already released? No. But when you saw that they said, oh, a baby tastes like yogurt, a
What?
baby tastes like yogurt, you can Google that. Now, not Google it. I'm sorry. If you go, the DOJ may have taken it down, but you used to be able to go to the website and they had barriers. So if you couldn't just see everything, you had to type in keywords. And then, like if
Mm.
you typed in beef jerky, brother, you got so much in it. But if you typed in baby tastes like yogurt, it was freaking sick. It was
Oh
sick.
wow. Mhm.
It was so sick that nobody, for me, I'm done participating in your system until we figure out what's going on, until I
Mhm.
realize, oh, I'm the only one. I ain't got no background, no backing, no help. So I'm gonna do like y'all do. I'm gonna do exactly like everybody else do. Man, I'm just gonna mind my business. I got bills to pay. I gotta live life, and I'm gonna let them do what they do. And that's the problem that I have is that look, you can live your life, do what you want to do. No problem. I get it. I understand. I'm doing the same thing, but at least have a little bit of an outrage. Not Trump bad. Trump. No, no, no. You see it. Epstein, you know his name. Israel, you know where he's from. Iran. Now I'm about to throw you something. Thank you for giving me time, Rich, to just vent. But let me share this with you. Let me just ask this question. Many times we get people will get called anti-Semitic. You've heard that, right?
Yes.
All right. Are you familiar with the Khazarians?
Yes.
Are you familiar with King Bulan?
A little bit, yes. Talk, inform me,
All right,
educate me.
but let's start with what do you know about King Bulan?
I don't know anything. Tell me.
Okay. So you had a period in time when you had these people from the Khazarians.
Yeah, Kazarian.
They
I'm
were
familiar with the
trying to
Kazarian.
they were trying to decide, should we be Muslim or should we be Roman Catholic Christian? I'm making the distinction of Roman Catholic Christian,
Mm,
not believers of the way, not believers of Yeshua. I'm making the distinction. What they said was allegedly, and what I read, somebody else check it. I could be wrong. I don't know. They said, look, we're going to go down to Babylon and we're going to learn the mysteries of Babylon.
hmm
Then they took the mysteries of Babylon and they turned that into like, hey, come the Balfour, what is it, the Balfour Declaration? You familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with it. No.
Okay. I don't want to go too deep, but these group of people said, hey man, we're the Jews. We're the Jews. This is why the Hebrew Israelites who are black people who say we're the original Hebrews, not Jews. We're the original Hebrews. These are the Khazarians who came in and said, hey, no, we gonna come in there and we gonna say it's us because then now we gonna say we're God's chosen people. And guess what? If you tell people I'm God's chosen people, there's a natural deference to God's
hmm
chosen people. There's a natural deference to it. Would you
hmm
agree? Okay.
Oh, or there could be some jealousy and resentment also.
On what part?
That if you're the chosen one, that means you're special. Like people hate on LeBron James because he's the chosen one. But I'm just being facetious. But yeah,
No,
some
no, that's
people.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So there's a lot of hatred toward Jewish people. No
Yeah,
question about
but
that.
but isn't there a lot of love towards LeBron too?
Yeah, of course, it's both. Yeah.
Okay. Now the people that love Jewish people that we know, would you say is love? Would you say some of it is fear because you don't want to get ostracized? What would you think? What would you say about the balance?
Yeah,
Do
I
you?
don't know. I think
Let me
you.
change. Let me change this way. Do you think there's anybody that says they like LeBron James because they have fear that there may be some retribution?
Well, I think it's a little bit different because he's just a basketball player.
But
I mean, yeah, definitely.
using
Yeah,
your analogy.
for sure. Great point. Great point. Yes. Yeah. No, it's different. The Jewish people in our world have a lot of influential power, and if you do say the wrong things in the wrong circles, you can become ostracized.
So if you say something bad about a black person, what happens to you?
Probably nothing
If you
unless you're
say
hanging.
something bad about an Anglo-Saxon white person, what happens to you?
That's kind of like the cool thing to do now.
If you say something bad about a Muslim, what happens to you?
That was cool like 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
If you say something bad about an Asian person, what happens to you?
There was a lot of Asian hate crime during the COVID.
Okay.
No,
Now, once again, the question was, what happens to you? So if you say something bad about those people, what could happen to you?
nothing much. Because in certain groups, you can always be affected. That's not, but if you're
Okay.
hanging in, if you say if you're hanging in the circle of Oprah Winfrey and LeBron James, and you say something bad about black people, you definitely can be ostracized out of that faction.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, so what I will say is that if you say something bad about LeBron James, if you say something bad about anybody, your title may be you're a hater.
hmm
But if you say something bad about a group of people, You get a label on you that has an economic machine behind it
Yeah,
that
no
can change your
question.
world. Huh?
That's no question. That's you're absolutely right about that. Yes.
That's the
Mm,
difference. And
yeah.
again, this is what I say again. Most of us are below the level. I don't know if you can see my hand. Most of us
Mhm.
operate here and we operate in sincerity and good faith and we argue with each other. But those who operate here, they operate under a different set of covenants and rules. And what
Totally agree.
us down here, what we have to start saying is that, like, the community I live in, my neighbors are Indian, Middle Eastern Indian over there. I got Puerto Rican, I got Caucasian, I got Germanic. I got very diverse communities. And one thing I tell them is this: my water system that comes in, I'm not going to argue with you about Trump because I want to talk to you about making sure my water's clean. I want to make sure that those power lines they put underground so our kids, when they play at the park, you see where I'm going? You see where I'm
I see
going?
where you're going. Okay, yeah.
But the people who operate up here, they have a different kind of covenant that we have to think about and say, wait a minute. And then when you change how you think about it, then you got to say, what is their covenant? What are their contracts? Because we already. When I tried to bring this issue up, I was told by people, "Hey man, like, hey man, you may lose your job." I was like, "Hey man, I'm not. I don't fear losing my job, and I don't fear
Mhm.
losing my life. What I really fear is losing the message. But I understand." Anybody that stands up historically, Muhammad, Jesus, run down the list. Everybody, and you too, we all end up dead. So that part of it is I just don't want to die on no BS. That's why I say I love myself. I'm good. My family love me.
Okay.
Hey, the
Yeah.
tools that are
Well.
used to discredit people
Hmm.
takes us away from saying it point blank. Jeffrey Epstein was the useful idiot. Donald Trump is the useful idiot. Elected officials have good hearts and good intentions until they find out, boy, girl, you better get in line because, like, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was stellar. They were great. They were useful idiots, both of them, until their eyes got open and they said, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I got values, I got principles. And I know at the end of the day, I have to answer to what I perceive as being my higher creator. And I cannot rightfully be able to sit down and say, this is right. I would rather die. Now, I'm just
Mm.
saying what I don't want to die. Trust me, I ain't trying to die. But I would
Mhm.
rather die than not tell the truth on this issue. When X came back from Mecca, when Martin Luther King realized that his handlers, you know that wasn't his real name. Martin Luther King was not his name. You know that, right?
I'm
You
not
know he
familiar
changed his
with.
name. Did you know
Okay,
that?
what it was? I did not know he did that. What's his real name?
Man, you in front of your computer.
I'm not
Google
in
it
front of
real
my
quick.
computer.
All right.
Okay, quiet.
So I'm gonna Google it just so that anybody that's looking and watching us, Martin Luther King Jr., that was not his original name.
Okay,
So
let's
let's
look it
go
up
with
real quick.
this. Martin Luther King Sr., what was his birth name? His birth name was Michael King.
Junior birth. What wasn't his father a senior or no?
No, look up Martin Luther King Sr. Let's
Is
start.
Michael
Start with the
Mike?
root.
Is Michael King Jr.?
Yeah, his name was Michael King. Isn't that
Oh, okay,
crazy?
that's so interesting.
You didn't know that, did you?
Oh, his father officially changed both their names, senior and junior, in the mid 1930s. That's interesting. Yeah, I never knew that. That's so
You
interesting.
didn't know. Now
Was it?
understand why he changed his name. Why did he name himself at this reformer of the Protestant religion,
Yeah, because
Martin
Martin is a
Luther?
Martin Luther's yeah, exactly. Martin Luther King. Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you very much. That's some very interesting insight on the Epstein case, and I thank you for today, sir. Mhm. And we'll
Hey,
we'll
we
build on
we
this
we
next
had
time.
35 minutes, man. We just scratched the surface. Thank you for letting me talk, Richard. It took a lot for us to get here, but as you can see, man, it's a lot in me, man, and I love my life. I'm not suicidal. I'm not on drugs. So if life is no longer existing for me, it's not because I didn't speak the truth that I know it to be.
Okay. I know you will always speak the truth, and that's a very important thing. We should always speak our truth. Okay. Till next time, everyone.